You see about one note. So, are you controlling your brain, or is your brain controlling you? What a weird questions, right? Of course I'm controlling my brain. It is inside me. Or rather, I am my brain. How could I even be manipulating myself, right? Well, what if I'm telling you that your brain is controlling your every thought? Let's imagine a scenario to prove this. Your friends introduce you to a nurse who you are both about to meet. By now you're probably thinking about how this person might look like. And so you talk with your friends for a couple more minutes, waiting for this person to come. And when they did, however, you found out that he was a very buff man, plus also poor gyms as a side hobby. Now this didn't cause any problem for us. After all, a man can definitely be a nurse. Why then did we get taken back when we meet this man? The reason is because I know for a fact that even for a slight moment, everyone here have an unconscious image of a woman hovering above our head. Now how does this prove that our brain is controlling our thoughts, you might ask? Well, let's try to depict this situation in a more brain-friendly way. This is you, a very good-looking stickman. And this is your brain. Let's call him Brian. Now how this is going to work is that every information that you receive goes through Brian first before it gets to you. The only problem is that Brian is not the sharpest guy. In fact, he is quite dumb. And so when you receive the nurse information, he ran to you and he gives you safe information, but it is misinformed by his childlike thinking. And so he ran to you and he shouted, "Hey, a woman is coming our way any minute now." So you didn't find any problem with this way of thinking. So you let the woman part through without any hesitations. Only after you met the man himself that you changed your view to the most objective and reasonable, which is anyone can be a nurse. That is how our brain is controlling our every thoughts. We have a lot of mental filters and bias that automate our thinkings. Just like in this example, it is how we often assign some genders to certain occupations. This automate thinking, they are called thinking errors. And this guy, they appears everywhere in our daily life. When we have a talk or we have a presentations, Brian might tell us how much people gonna judge us. When we attempt drawing for the first time, for example, Brian might tell us how we're never gonna be good at it, while the truth couldn't be more far off. Now, the story doesn't end there, however. Thinking error, if left unattended for too long, they turn into something way worse. It's not going to be a one-time thing when we get nervous when we talk or when we start practicing something. They're going to turn into something that we call cognitive distortion. And this guy, they are the real problems. They make our thinking become negative, extreme, and irrational. And in the end, this is one of the main components for mental illnesses. Now, let me introduce you to a case study of Kay. Kay is just like any other student. He is scared of making mistakes. In a group setting, he would be very careful not to make any mistake. When he's submitting his essay to his teacher, he will be checking again and again for errors. And even when playing basketball with his friend, he is scared of messing up. Now this is already a consequence of thinking errors, how he constantly thinks that other people are going to judge him. However, this one time when Kay did actually miss an important deadline, can you imagine what he would say to himself? He said to himself, "How could I be so stupid? I'm not worthy of my place. I hate myself." Unfortunately, Kay is diagnosed with depression and social anxiety. And this undoubtedly developed from his harmful ways of thinking. And as you can see, there is many informations and situations that can lead us into negative thinking. But it is not the information's fault. It is Brian's fault. It is how we process the information. When we fail our driving test, we process the information into "I can't never drive" without any intentions of fixing. When we see our friends win competitions, we automatically think that we are so far behind compared to everyone else. And then we'll start hating ourselves for unjustified reason. Ryan, besides being a dumb kid, is also very sensitive. Inside every one of us is a sensitive kid, being exposed to the world around us without much awareness about our negative patterns. And if we continue to believe in this thought without questioning them, the consequence is not going to look pretty. It's got to be mental illnesses all over: depression, social anxiety, bipolar, etc. And this is all long-term battles that will leave scars even after we are healed from them. And to me, nothing is more heartbreaking than seeing people having to struggling with these irreversible effects. And so now, I'm going to walk you through the steps to prevent this thinking error. I'm going to introduce you to a branch of therapy called cognitive behavioral therapy. Now, of course, we cannot do the work of a professional, but there's still a lot that we can learn and apply to our real life from this craftsmanship. What therapists typically do in this therapy first is that they would identify our most common thinking errors. There are many types, but for the sake of this talk, I'm just gonna suggest that you read them, and I'm gonna walk you through the steps to know when you are making one. I abbreviate these 3 steps as CPR. The first step is C, and it stands for calming yourself down. Whenever you feel mad or sad or frustrated or negative in any way at all, the first thing you need to do is to calm yourself down. You ask your friend that you need some time and space, and you just walk out of the situations for now. Different people have different ways of calming themselves down. For me, I would simply take a deep breath, breathe in, and breathe out. And if that doesn't work, another solution is the old saying of sleep on the problems. Just sleep through the problems and see how it changes when you wake up. The point is to steady your mind. The second step is to pen down your negative thinkings and find evidence against them. One way you could do this is to imagine that there's a judge inside your heads, your fair self. So in K cases, right, he missed the deadline and he thought to himself, how could I be so stupid? One way you could do this is that there's like a judge inside K's head, and he would point out how K was having a lot on his plate. And handling all this deadline would be a hard task to do. Or he could say like, people make mistakes sometimes, and it is not fair to consider this one case and just conclude a whole person's intelligence or value. And after you find this evidence against the negative thinking, you will go to the last step, which is R, and it stands for replace and record. You would replace this negative thinking with positive one. So, for example, in K cases, he could replace his negative thinkings with I would try to find a more logical way to arrange my deadline. I would pay up for my mistake next time, or just simply, I'm smart in my own way. R also stands for recording, which is that you would keep a diary or so, and you would record all these incidents, and it will be a very great resource in helping you to identify this thinking error. Now, the bottom line is that awareness is key. Be aware of this thinking error. Know that they do exist and will be lurking around in your data. And I'm sure you will figure out the rest yourself just fine. And so I hope that one day, all of our little Brians here can be as strong and as smart as all of us here. Thank you for listening.